When my wife, Sarah, told me she was going out for dinner with her boss, I didn't think much of it at first. She worked in marketing, often attending client meetings and office dinners. But something about the way she said it that night, too casual, too rehearsed, made my stomach tighten. She smiled faintly, avoided eye contact, and grabbed her purse before I could say another word. At first, I tried to trust her. I told myself I was just being paranoid. She had been working long hours lately, often coming home late with the excuse of deadlines or project reviews. But as days went on, her behavior changed. She stopped talking to me like she used to, avoided family dinners, and spent more time glued to her phone, smiling at messages she quickly deleted. That night, when she left for her so-called dinner, I decided to test my doubts. I waited for half an hour, then drove toward the restaurant she mentioned. I parked my car across the street, my heart pounding like a drum. When I finally saw her walk in, she wasn't alone. Her boss, Mr. Harris, followed close behind. What stung wasn't that they arrived together, but that he held her hand as they entered. I sat there in silence, staring at the scene through my windshield. They laughed, leaned close, shared private smiles, the kind we used to share. My hands trembled, not from anger but from realization. The woman I loved was now emotionally somewhere else, and I didn't know how to bring her back. I didn't go inside. I just drove home, numb and hollow. When she returned later that night, her perfume still fresh and her lipstick slightly smudged, I was sitting on the couch waiting. She looked startled. "You're still awake?" she asked softly, pretending everything was normal. I nodded slowly and said, "So, how was dinner with your boss?" She froze for a moment before replying, "It was just work, you know that." I smiled faintly and said, "Good. Because I had dinner with my lawyer." Her face went pale instantly. "What?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "I said," I repeated calmly, "it's only fair. I let you have dinner with your boss, and I'll have dinner with my lawyer. You call it dinner, I call it divorce." She stood there speechless for several seconds, her eyes filling with shock and disbelief. "You can't be serious," she finally said, her tone breaking. "It was nothing like that. You're overreacting." I handed her the envelope from my lawyer, divorce papers already prepared. "Sarah," I said quietly, "marriage isn't built on excuses and late-night dinners. It's built on trust. And you broke it." She dropped onto the couch, her eyes darting around like she was searching for the right words to save herself. "Please, let me explain," she begged. "He's been helping me with a promotion. That's all. I didn't want to upset you by mentioning how often we meet." I shook my head, exhausted by the lies. "You should have been honest, not secretive. I saw how he held your hand tonight. Promotions don't need that kind of touch." Tears rolled down her cheeks, but I felt nothing. The part of me that once loved her was now buried under disappointment. 4 years, I had stood by her through struggles and sacrifices. I supported her dreams, trusted her blindly. But in return, she chose deception. For the next few days, she tried to change my mind. Texts, calls, even showing up at my office. She apologized again and again, promising it was just dinner, that nothing else happened. But her words sounded like echoes in an empty room. Once trust shatters, no apology can fix the silence it leaves behind. Eventually, I stopped responding. The papers were signed, the keys returned, and the house felt colder than ever. Yet, in that quiet, I felt peace, because at least I wasn't living a lie anymore. Months later, I heard she had quit her job. Her boss had apparently moved on, leaving her career and reputation in ruins. Maybe that was karma, or maybe it was just life's way of balancing things. Sometimes I still think about that night, about how one dinner ended a marriage. But I've learned that the truth always finds its way out, no matter how deeply someone tries to bury it. And now, when people ask what happened between us, I simply say, she had dinner with her boss. I had dinner with my lawyer. We both left full, but for very different reasons.